Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for checking back into this channel. This is going to be a little bit off topic today, and I know that I only got like a couple hundred coming up on 300, I think, subscribers or something. And if you're just tuning into this, this is primarily a live sound channel for music and stuff. But as the title says, so I want to talk about our dog. Um, and let me be clear, a definite member of our family that we had to put down a week ago today. And I guess the reason why I want to do this, I usually don't put my feelings out there. And I think I don't even have no social media besides YouTube, anyways. And so I usually don't put stuff out there, but I know that I started doing some research um, on on this before before we put our dog down, and stuff. So let me set this up for you. So she was a Chesapeake Bay Retriever English Setter mix, and she just turned 11 years old on September 23rd. Today being October 13th, and we had to put her down last week, October the 6th. So she just said she was like 11 years, coming up on a month, and she, like probably like many of you guys' pets, she was more than just a dog or a cat. She was a 100% member of our family. I mean, sleeps with us, leaves with us, vacations with us, except for our trip to Florida last year. Camps with us. You guys know what I'm talking about. And one of the most important things was good with the kids. Never had to worry about that dog around our son when we brought him home from the hospital. Never had to worry about her around other kids. She was just good like that. So we got her when she was 6.5 weeks old. So once again, you kind of understand the connection that you have. So anyways, about a year ago, our vet told us there was a little bit of elevated liver levels that we needed to keep an eye on in time. So that was during one vet appointment, and we got her yearly appointments and stuff like that. And if I didn't say, I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. So within the last couple years, her hips, like if she'd run out and play ball and stuff, she would have, if she really ran hard, she would limp a little bit for the next day or two. So, we end up putting her on Cosequin, and ended up, within the last year or so, putting her on senior dog food and stuff like that. Well, a couple of, I don't know, month and a half ago, we just started notice, like, is she losing weight? And then we had noticed too that her appetite had went down. She wouldn't eat her morning food, and she would still go outside and everything, wouldn't eat her morning food. Still loved her treats, still loved the treats 100%. And we told her, oh, you got to eat your food to get your treats, but I couldn't help it most of the time. I had to give her treats, for doing something good. And so, so anyways, just to speed this up a little bit, so I can get to the part how I was feeling. Once we started to realize, oh man, her shoulders, you can really feel the bones, and her hips, you can really feel the bones and stuff in her hips. Once we started realizing that, we're like, all right, we better get her checked out, along with the loss of appetite. So it turns out the vet diagnosed her with diabetes. So she prescribed, or told us what insulin to get. So we put her on actually, if you watch one of my videos back, we had to put this app on my phone once the Libre or something got put in her, so we could scan her insulin and stuff like that. But so anyways, and my wife was great about giving her the insulin shots. I don't like needles, so she was giving her the insulin shots 2 times a day while she was eating, uh, right after she ate. Problem was, she really only ate 2 meals a day for 2 or 3 days after that. Then she stopped, and we just couldn't. We bought her the wet, I guess, canned dog food. She loved that for a couple days, and then we would mix that in with her dry dog food. And we were trying all different ones, probably the same thing that you guys have done, or may do to do the best for your animal. So it was just getting to the point where she didn't want to eat. And so anyways, diagnosed with diabetes, and it got to the point to where she still didn't want to eat. So I got her to eat some green beans. I remember one of her last meals actually was probably last Wednesday, so like 9 days ago, and it was some scrambled eggs and piece of bread, which the bread may not be best for the diabetes, but we're getting something in her, and a couple licks of peanut butter, without the one ingredient in there that I guess is bad for dogs. Anyways, um, called the vet again. The vet said you probably need to get her into a hospital. Sounds like she's going into a diabetic, not ketosis, but diabetic something. And so we took. I had went like 45 minutes north out of town. I had to go look at a gig site coming up, and my wife. And then I had to get back for our son getting off the bus. So my wife took the dog, to the vet. Took Dixie. Dixie's her name, if I didn't tell you. So took Dixie to the vet hospital. So they do some initial urinalysis and some blood work. My wife calls me up, says, "Hey, the recommendation is to put her in the hospital, and to treat her for 1 to 2 days to try to get her insulin down, her sugar or glucose down, sugar, I guess, and stuff, and get that under control to be able to test her liver again and do blood work again with the sugar under control." So she goes, but it's gonna. She goes, but they said it's gonna cost us between $4,000 and $5,000. Now, we don't make $500,000 a year, and we don't live like we do neither. So we make what we make, and we gig a lot, and we love that, and but $4,000 or $5,000 in 2 days was hard to swallow. So what did I start feeling? I started feeling anger. I started feeling like, man, I wish I was just a trillionaire and I could make sure all of our people are taken care of, and of course our children, number one, take care of medically, but then just have a fund for like our animals, for people who maybe that's a hard pill to swallow, because you got your family pet, you want them, they're your everything, your family, your kids, your wife, husband, they're your everything. So I got mad. I got mad at the cost. I'm like, you need to call him back and you need to talk to him, make sure this, make sure that. I wish I was down there at the time, but I wasn't. So yeah, I was mad, upset at the money, but I just took a couple of minutes and thought it through, and based on, like I already told you, she was 100% part of us without a doubt. And especially that she was always good to the babies, good to the kids that would come over, play with our son, and good to our son, everything like that, and loved our family being around. It was a no-brainer. I mean, it's tough, but we're like, yeah, go ahead and do it. We owed that to her. That was exactly what we thought. That's why I told my wife, we owe that to that dog. I don't even like calling her a dog. She's a dog, but I like calling her more than that. But we owed that to Dixie for the life that she gave us and that we tried to give her. So we put her in the hospital, and it was, I guess they admitted her about 6 o'clock that evening, 6 o'clock. So the next morning, a doctor calls and says that they gave her the fast-acting insulin. That got the sugar down and all that. That's under control right now. But the new test showed that liver values extremely elevated. And, they told us that it was more than likely liver cancer, but it's going to require this testing, and she's going to have to go here and there. And they couldn't guarantee. Right now, it turns out she wasn't eating down there, and she wasn't drinking down there. And when I last had seen her on Wednesday, I think I had to, when she would go outside, she would like go out and pee, and then she'd have to sit down for the last few days and get up to do her other business. So her legs were giving out. And so the next day we decided to bring her home. So we went down and that day we decided to bring her home that Thursday. And we brought her home on Thursday. And she wouldn't eat or drink for the vet, but as soon as we got her out to the truck, I gave her a bunch of water and a cup, and she just drank the heck out of it. Like, she only wanted to do that stuff with us. But we got her home, and I'll have you know, I was in denial about everything. I went through the anger over the vet costs, but I was in denial about her being sick and probably going to die or have to be put down. And we got her home, and I picked her up out of the truck and put her down in the grass, and her legs just went straight down, and she just couldn't stand anymore. And I lifted her up, and I lifted her up so she could pee. Plain as that, simple as that. So I lifted her up so she could pee, and then I either carried her in or I held her up in the front and back so that she could walk in. And though her mind seemed fine, and her expressions and the way her ears would perk up. Dixie seemed good in that regard, but that's when I started to understand a little bit. She's probably hurting inside, and she just don't relay that like humans. But I was of the point, that's my girl, and I'm gonna fix her, and I'm gonna make her food, whatever she wants. We're gonna get her strong and healthy again. And so we brought her inside. And if you watch any of my music speaker demos, the back door that you see that I'm standing in front of for a lot of the videos, it's a little mudroom there. It's like maybe a 6x6 mudroom. And we put her in there, and she never got up to leave that. She couldn't. Her legs were gone in the matter of just a day and a half, 2 days. Her legs were gone in the back. And so my wife goes, hey, I'm going to call, her parents, divorced parents, remarried each side. So her sets of parents over, and sister, brother-in-law, all this to come see her maybe one last time. And this is hitting me. I'm like, what are you talking about here? And so though I was starting to realize things, I was still in denial, one last time. And she goes, honey, we're gone this weekend, and we can't wait through the weekend with the condition she's in. Look at her, and she's in pain, just like the vet said, and this, that, and the other. So anyways, people come over, and they love that dog. They love Dixie, and they went and spent some time with her. We had a little cheer in there for her to like. It's almost like a funeral home viewing. I hate to say. I'm trying to laugh about it and find some comic relief, but I was hurting inside. So that Thursday night, I didn't go to bed with my wife. I grabbed a blanket, and I laid down next to her. She never did leave that mudroom. She couldn't. And we had one of those pee pads or whatever under her. And I laid there with Dixie. Laid there with that dog after everybody left. And I didn't leave her side unless I had to run to the bathroom. And I lay there on that hard floor. I didn't even bring nothing. Didn't bring no blow-up mattress or nothing. I laid there on that hard floor with her because I wanted to be next to her. And sometimes sometimes she would just crawl around a little bit to try to move. She couldn't stand up and move. And then about, I only slept for 2 or 3 hours, and I just laid there, talking to her, petting her, and hugging her, and hey, we're big tough guys, right? This and that. Well, when it comes to our kids, and obviously our animals that are definitely part of God's creation, it's tough. And and she would look at me. I knew when she had to go outside. She gave me that look. It's about 4 a.m. I turn the alarm off. I pick her up, and I take her outside to pee. When I picked her up, I see that she'd also peed on the pee pad. So she just couldn't help it anymore. And that's when I realized then she was in pain, and she was hurting. And the next day, so I get her back in. I continue to sleep with her there. Get up the next morning. Our son comes to see her. My wife gets up, comes to see her, and I was there next to her. And sorry, I keep looking at the place where we were laying. So I thought, no, I've still got this. I'm going to fix her. I'm going to fix her some food. Well, I fixed her some eggs again. She loved eggs, the green beans. When she wasn't eating her food, she wouldn't have none of it, nothing. And she loved the milk bones. We would always break one in half, give it to her. She's about a 68-pound dog, and she got down to 52 pounds. And she wouldn't eat the milk bones either. She just wasn't eating. She would take a little bit of water if I moved the bowl in front of her. So anyway, she was hurting, and she was weak, and she couldn't move, and couldn't walk, and wasn't eating all that good stuff. So I began to accept the fact that the humane thing to do was probably put her down, and I was the last one to accept that. And anyways, long story short, our son says, hey, why don't we pick her up and put her in the living room on the couch where she loved being? And I'm so glad he said that. So we did. We picked her up, moved her in there, put a blanket down on her pee pad, and put her on the couch. And then my mom, came over that day, and another mother-in-law, came over earlier that day. And my mom, her boyfriend, came over. And so, we finally, about 12:30, I gave my wife the go-ahead to make the appointment, because I realized I didn't want to let her go. And I could sit here and talk about it and think, did we do everything we could? We put her in the hospital, we put her in ICU, listened to the medical professionals, but still I thought I was smaller, could somehow get her back. But anyways, I talked about in this video what I was feeling. I felt that anger. I felt, the anger because of the money, anger because we couldn't, fix her. And then I felt the compassion once we picked her up. I felt the feelings like I can fix her. And then, so anyways, I got to be honest with you. And I know it shouldn't sound weak. I feel like it does, but it shouldn't sound weak. I got to be honest with you. We when she made that appointment, I told my wife, I told Erin, I'm like, I feel like we need some other people there. It's gonna be tough because it's being my wife and our son and me, and he knew everything that was going on, 100%. And my wife says, I'm keeping you home from football practice the night before, and you need to, because, and I forgot to tell you too that in a weird way, I hoped that when I was laying with her that night, if she was gonna pass away, I just wish that it was gonna be next to me, like in my arms or with my arm over her, But she didn't, and I'm good with that because I knew that drive to the vet was going to be hard. So, and it was. And I appreciate my mom and mother-in-law for being there, my mom's boyfriend. I appreciate them being there. But that drive, that 10, 12-minute drive to the vet we had taken her to her whole life was so, so hard. And then we had to wait out there in the parking lot. And I remember somebody else walking out with tears in their eyes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person just had the same thing, like, how am I going to be? You don't know how bad I wanted to just drive out of that parking lot, but that would be for a selfish reason. And I knew the best thing for Dixie was to put her down. And that ride was the calmest. She hated truck rides. That was the calmest she ever was. And she always hated going into the vet. But it's like she knew something, because when I was carrying her in, she was like wagging her tail, and it's so sad. But it gives me a sense of maybe she knew what was happening. Maybe she was happy. Maybe she understood. And anyways, you know how the euthanization, am I saying it right? You know how that goes. If not, just go ahead and research it, of course. But I made sure that the last kiss she gave was to our son. And I made sure that he got to give her the last kiss, because she used to sleep with him until she got a little bit too sick. She used to sleep with him when he'd go to bed at night. So anyways, and my feelings again went from anger because of the money. It went to, we owe her everything, so we are going to do it, and we did, and I wouldn't change a thing. And it went to the compassion, and I can fix her, and it went to the realization that maybe I'm being selfish, and maybe I'm just, this comes to a point that I can't fix things. So and though I miss her every day and say things to her like, Daddy's seen a little bit, girl, Lord willing, say little things to her like that, I still find myself doing that. And so that's my video. I feel better now, and it hurts a lot, but I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better a week later. But our son obviously gets sad when he thinks about her. And one of the sad things too is this right here. She was always let us know when FedEx or UPS was here, and this was her first package of mine that came today that she missed. So but she probably let me know. She probably seen it, from up above. But anyways, back to live music. I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you're here for live music, got this live wire power strip surge protector. I had one before, liked it, so I picked up another one while it was on. Stupid deal of the day at Musician's Friends, so for $20. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I did this so that maybe it would help somebody, because I found out how common this is, and yeah, just maybe it would help somebody. So who wanted to tune in and watch this. So probably no pictures of Dixie that I wanted to put on there, or videos on this, except for maybe the one I put in the thumbnail. So anyways, love you, girl. And thank you guys for watching. If you do live sound, do good shows for the people. Be good to people. And obviously your pets. I know you guys will, or you wouldn't be watching this. So God bless you guys. We'll see you.